I'm here with my Bedford Radio hat on to talk about our business expo that we did earlier this year, about a month ago, and why, if there isn't a business expo in your area, you might want to give it a go. And I've bought loads of these as well because I've got loads of spares, so feel free to take some as well. But first, let's find out a little bit more about the business expo. So we're here at the great venue of King's House here in Bedford, which is host of this year's Bedford Business Expo. Around 50 stalls, we've had hundreds of people through the door, all looking to make new connections, new opportunities, and to make business local.
We're here today to meet local businesses and just to really find out how we can support local businesses and companies with the health and safety and HR.
There's a big network. I think there's a lot of support as a small business in Bedfordshire. I think today's highlighted the help that you can get.
Metro Bank are a very community-focused bank. We pride ourselves on becoming the #1 community bank. We're here to promote our brand, what we do for our customers, for the local community, and how we might be able to help some of the people that are here today.
There's a lot of businesses I've come across I haven't really sort of seen before, so it's good to see what's happening in the town. I think as we come out of COVID especially, there's a lot of small businesses that have struggled perhaps, and it's a good opportunity for them just to see what's happening around, to market what they're doing, and just to pick up business. I think it's been a hard time when we hit the cost of living crisis. Everyone's got to work a little bit harder to kind of get their business name out and about.
For me, it was the ideal space. It's a great location, just outside of town, good parking, good access to local transport links. It's an absolutely beautiful venue. For the expo space, we've got some breakout rooms with for speed networking and some workshops, but also the coffee shop at the front of the building is a fantastic space where people can grab a really good quality coffee or good tea and some great food, but also some areas where people can take the networking out of the expo space and carry on conversations and continue making great connections.
Do it. Come along and do it. It's a way of getting leads. It's a really good way of getting involved with the community. There is a lot of charities that you can get involved with. There's a lot of business to be found. You just need to go out there and get involved, especially locally.
So as we look forward to launching Bedford Radio this summer on DAB, we're keen to develop our business relationships and our engagements in the community and in the business community. We're keen to look at networking, we're keen to look at collaboration, and we're keen to work forward for when we look at launching the Bedford Business Expo 2024. We're going to do another one, and we can just look forward to it being bigger and better. I think I'm more grateful for the fact I'm not wearing the same shirt, actually. So I had a crazy idea. Let's have a business expo. There hasn't been one in Bedford, which is just over the border, just in that direction. Population about 180, 200,000 in the borough. But there hasn't been a business expo for about 4, 5, maybe 6 years. So we did an RSL last summer, an 11-day RSL. Bedford Radio is new. We've been online for a couple of years. We are, as is shown in the video, looking to launch on SSDAB at some point this year. So we did an FM RSL as part of the Bedford River Festival and as part of the Bedford Fringe Festival to really help put us on the map, because I still believe that FM RSLs are a really interesting way of helping to capture a mass audience and try and get big audience. Interesting conversation with Ofcom about under what criteria we were eligible to have an RSL, because apparently you're not allowed to just have RSLs for the sake of having them anymore. You have to have a reason, which is a bit annoying. And launching a possible new service is not a reason, even though we were going to go on a DAB at some point. So as we were looking at launching on an RSL, obviously we want businesses to advertise and businesses to support us. And we realised in Bedford there's not loads of business networking opportunity. There's a couple of networking groups, but there wasn't anything big. And it was through going to a few of them and realising that there hasn't been an expo in Bedford since 2017, 2018. And it was maybe something that could be needed. With my other hats on at NLive Radio in Northampton and Northamptonshire, there's a very vibrant business community in the county, and there is about 4 or 5 different expos across different areas of the county, and they're quite good. So a lot of inspiration from what was being seen just over the border in Northamptonshire. There are a few naysayers, and a few people say it wouldn't work, it's been tried before, nobody will come. and also quite daunting tasks, and only get my management team at the radio station to agree to do it. It's, at the end of the day, it's not a radio thing, it's something completely different, and to start something from scratch. But we thought it'd be a great way of raising awareness of Bedford Radio in the business community, bringing businesses together, and if it was successful, would build those relationships with the station. So our goals, to break even ideally. And I say ideally because we thought actually this is a marketing exercise. So even if it ends up costing us money, it's a marketing exercise. And if you've been to a business expo, you've probably paid to go to an expo anyway. So we thought, do you know what, if this ends up costing us some money, it doesn't matter. We wanted it to be well attended. The biggest feedback we'd had was from previous expos is that they didn't get anyone to them. They weren't massively attended. We wanted businesses to be involved. We wanted strong local businesses. We wanted to use it as an opportunity to have conversations you wouldn't normally have. If you're traditionally a radio, you're just trying to sell them advertising. This is about bringing businesses together. This is about helping develop your local business community. And also, we didn't want it to be a one-off. We did want to start something that, if successful, could also be something that we do on a regular basis. So, how crazy was it? What I will say is finding the right venue is key. Somewhere that can host the expo, but also where you can do teas and coffees, you can do catering. There are possible breakout spaces, possible spaces where you can maybe do seminars, somewhere that can cope with any AV needs you need, somewhere that can deal with power. Because actually, whilst you might go into a hall and there might be power plugs around the wall, can they as a venue, or can you suddenly think about how am I going to run strips of power? And what does that look like? Because every stall will want to plug something in. Even if they don't book it, they'll go, hang on, why can't I plug my laptop in? Even if they didn't book power. So you need to think about how you get power to everything. For those that came to the UKCRN National Conference or the awards, we used that venue. And actually, when we were scoping that out for that, I had some preliminary conversations back then about, could this work for this? And actually, that space on the video, that's where we held the awards. So it's the same space, but doing something completely different. But also, I knew they had smaller spaces. They had smaller rooms that we could use. Or if the expo wasn't going to be so big, we had smaller spaces that we could move into and put the expo in there, but it would still look busy. We didn't need to in the end. The venue were keen to work with us. That venue is a community venue. It's actually a charity. It's actually a church. The Sunday after the awards, they had, as we were packing down the awards, they were getting all the chairs out ready for the church the next day. And actually, in one of the seminar rooms, slight detour, but one of the seminar rooms, as we were packing down from the Community Radio Awards, we saw this inflated swimming pool, because they pump up a swimming pool, fill it full of water, because they do baptisms. So in the same space, it was the same space they were using to prep all the catering for the awards, they were doing baptisms in on a Sunday. But it was a community venue, so they wanted to work with us. They were really keen to do it. Think about who you can partner with. We partnered with our local Business Buzz. If you've not heard of Business Buzz, they are morning networking sessions. It's like a national franchise. We partnered with them. We wanted them to come and run some networking sessions for us, but also they were really the big successful networking gig in town. So if we got them as a partner, they would then naturally tell their networks about it as well. And also we wanted to partner with other media partners. So we partnered with Bedford Independent, which is, we don't have a proper local newspaper in Bedford anymore. Bedford Independent is an online platform, so we partnered with them because we know they've got a reach of, something like 80-90% of the town will go to their website once or twice a week or something like that. So we know that they've got that reach. We also partnered with our Chamber of Commerce. We actually have a contra deal in Bedford that we get free membership of the Chamber of Commerce in exchange for some advertising, marketing and attendance, these kind of things. I'm a big fan. There's a lovely gentleman down south who I call the king of contra because he contras loads of stuff. So I'm inspired by him, so there's a lot of contras. That video you saw, that was a contra deal. That's a contra deal for some advertising. When we launched on BAB, he's going to get an advert for us. The photographer had a stall and took photos for free. So we was trying to contra where we can. The big question, though, and this is, I think, where a lot of business expos go wrong, is if you build it, they will come. No. We work in marketing. That's what a big part of radio is. It's about promoting things. And that's the tool that you need to use. You need to promote it. Like I said, the biggest piece of feedback we had from other expos that had happened in the area was there wasn't much attendance. We've all probably been to an expo that someone's organised who's really lovely and friendly, and there's no one turned up. You have more conversations with the other stallholders than you do with the members of the public. I wanted big attendance. I wanted stallholders to go, great, it was busy and buzzing the whole day. So we put a lot of money in Facebook advertising. We also set up a dedicated Facebook page for the expo. We also sent out social media marketing pack to all stalls that booked. So they had like a little banner, I've got a photo of it in a minute, a little banner and all this kind of stuff. LinkedIn, we set up a separate showcase page for the expo on LinkedIn. We had half a dozen physical banners around the town as well. We did some, like I said, contra deal with some online news platforms, and they were our media partner. We did a contra deal with a local lifestyle magazine that goes out once a month or once every 2 months and goes through people's stores. Advert in there, they could get a stall and that kind of stuff. We paid for a little bit of advertising in traditional. We got a database. We made our own database of about 80 to 100 businesses in the local town, and we sent them a postcard to say, you're invited. Do you want to come and have a stall, or do you want to come? And we put money into that. And in addition, every time a business booked, we put something on social media. And the reason we had separate Facebook and LinkedIn accounts is we didn't want to spam it all on the station's account. So we wanted it to almost be a little bit of a separate sub-brand. But every time someone booked, we did. And then those are the assets that we sent out to businesses as our promo pack. Because we wanted to encourage businesses to say they were coming. Whilst we were going to do marketing, we were working on the proviso that if we got 50 stalls and they each managed to bring 2 or 3 or 4 people, encourage people to come, there would be a couple hundred people easily. But also, more importantly, all the marketing we did had the Bedford Radio logo as part of it. And our website was a Bedford Radio website, bedford.radio/Business Expo. So it was also marketing for the radio station as well. And it did prompt some conversations with people going, oh, I didn't know there was a radio station in Bedford, and you could have that conversation. You know, we're an internet station at the moment, but we're launching on DAB. What I would say, we did get there in the end, but my feedback and the problems was make sure you double check everything. Make sure you have somebody else proofread what you're doing. Make sure it makes sense. You can't quite see it in the photo, but the banner, sticker over the first part of the postcode, because the first tranche of marketing that went out, including the banners, had the wrong postcode on it. Because the venue is MK42, but we live in MK43, and you're naturally just used to writing your own postcode on things. Well, the one thing I failed to do is MK43 9AZ, which is nowhere near me. I meant to get like an A1 size board for the day that says you're in the wrong place. Because interestingly, I did have one stallholder come up to me and say, I followed the postcode and it took me to a housing estate on the other side of the town. So proofread, make sure somebody checks your stuff. Allow lots of time to actually do things. Crazy idea, we hit the go button the first week in January. Because of that naysayers, we'd been talking about it at the end of last year, but because of those naysayers, I really hesitated. Don't hesitate, it's the other thing. If you're going to think about these things, just go for it. We decided to go for it in January, so we put the whole thing together in 7 weeks. I would do it in much longer. I don't want any of you on a car home journey going, oh, we can do that. How's April looking? Don't. Take a couple of months. Go and speak to your businesses and that kind of stuff. What I put, measure twice, cut once, that old adage. We weren't sure about the venue layout. We went up to the venue, I bought one of those meter rule things, measured the venue twice. Still was not 100% sure how I'm going to fit 50 stalls in that venue. We nearly got the Lego out. I'm not lying, we nearly got the Lego out to try and work out. In fact, we got to the point of cutting out bits of paper and seeing if it could fit. Because we weren't convinced we'd fit all the stalls in. We'd already sold all the stalls, so it's not as if we could turn up and go, sorry, we can only fit 40, 45 stalls in now. So make sure you know what the venue looks like. And also manage your expectations with the venue. What are they going to do? What's your access times going to do? What's the setup look like? Who's putting the tablecloths on the tables? we were offering bottles of water to everyone, and the week before the venue went, oh, we noticed you're offering free bottles of water. You're not hoping to bring your own bottles in, are you? You're not just going to go to cash and carry. You've got to buy those bottles of water from us. You do realise that, and suddenly, instead of buying a case of water from Costco at £4, they ended up costing me 60p a bottle from the venue. Fine, we did that. We should have managed our expectations and had those conversations with the venue. And exhibitor passes. We're really umming and ahhing about what we do with the exhibitor passes. We had a company that was going to come and do a print on arrival, and then the week before, or 10 days before, they went, no, actually, we're not going to come. So suddenly we're scrabbling around. I like a lot of homebrewy stuff, so we got our own printed, and we bought, which has done all these this weekend, we bought a thermal label printer. So we then just throw it through a mail merge, and we printed out all the labels, and then my lovely other half had to sit there and stick them all on. And these are just cardboard lanyards. Interestingly, we were going to do this for the national conference, UKCRN conference. That was our plan, and we were just going to use sheet labels and print them out on a printer. But we ordered the wrong size. They came 2 days before the national conference. No, the day before the national conference they came, and they were A5, which we think might have been a bit too big to put around people's necks. But we got there in the end. We had around 50 stalls. The other advice I'd say is have a spare stall. Have a completely blank stall, just in case someone turns up and there's a problem, or you get some last minutes, you can deal with it. Nothing worse than someone going, oh, you've put me next to so-and-so, we hate each other. And so I would recommend having a spare stall that you can do stuff with. We had over 250 people through the door. We had around 50-60% turnout rate on Eventbrite. It's free to attend, but we were encouraging people to book on Eventbrite so we could pre-sticker them and stuff. We had about a 50% turnout rate on Eventbrite, but we had a healthy number, I think it was about 30-40 people who just showed up, and we had to register them on the day, which was just a simple Google form on a tablet that they could just fill in. So we captured their data, captured people's data, so you can email them afterwards for feedback. Suddenly you can also add them to mailing lists so you can tell them about radio advertising and that kind of stuff. Get people's feedback. We had a feedback QR code in all the stall packs, in the booklet. We emailed everyone feedback. We got people's feedback. So we now had to make the event bigger. We also increased our mailing list of that we can email them about Bedford Radio. We can also email them about business opportunities. And we got the feedback of we now know what time of year and what day of the week we can do next year's expo and what they want from it, so we can feed off that feedback. Our event ran from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We had good numbers throughout. There's people still turning up to come to the venue at like 3:30, 3:45. We probably would do it shorter, but then do maybe some dedicated networking afterwards. So we probably would maybe only run till about 3 o'clock, because you can also fit people in with a school run, particularly business owners, small business owners. The networking event we did have in the afternoon with Business Buzz was packed, so it did really, really work as well. And then we will do it again, and we would do some things differently. We would take longer to plan it and deliver it. We are now at the stage that we are about to confirm the date for next year, and we're still in March, and it will probably be in March next year. So we're going to give ourselves much more longer run up at doing it, but we want it bigger, and we want it better. We want to have workshops. We want to do more networking sessions. We want to have more stalls. That venue's big enough that we can do more breakout and have more stalls. We want seminars, and we want to get more businesses involved. We're also maybe looking at having a headline sponsor to help cover some of the costs, but equally, because it's effectively Bedford Radio's Business Expo, we're not sure we want to give up some of that positioning, because the fact, again, it's us front and centre. We want to develop the Expo magazine, which we actually called Business Directory, because we hope that it has a longevity post the day, so that people keep it on their desks, and people pick, I've put it into business venues and open, multi-business sites and that kind of stuff. So hopefully it'll have a longevity and a bit more value beyond the day. We wouldn't do so many deals and discounts. We did a lot of half-price deals. We did a lot of early bird, and we gave a lot away to friends and family, effectively, because we wanted to make sure it was busy. First year, we wanted to make sure it was sold out, stalls-wise. We wanted to make sure it was busy. We wouldn't do that, because we think now the event can stand on its own, and actually we can make more out of it. And also, I would say, you need a separate team to run the expo. You need a separate team to run your own stand at your expo. And also, you need a separate team if you're going to broadcast it. We broadcast live for the whole day, and I think we need 3 separate teams running that because there was only 4 or 5 of us there doing the whole thing. It was a bit busy, and it's taken me nearly a whole month to recover from it. So have different people doing different things and doing different managed things. Did it work? Was it worth it? Absolutely. The amount of conversations we've had with people, it's worked really well. It was a busy event. We proved we could do it. That's the other thing, is we proved we can do it. We've had other people come to us wanting to partner with us for other things, non-radio related, other things, awards and activities. So we're really, really keen to work in partnership with people now, and we've proved that we can do it. There were a few naysayers, there's still naysayers, but we proved we could do it. As a station, I think we've actually recruited 6 people off the back of it as well, have signed up to be volunteers and they want to get involved. So it's a great opportunity for us. It generated some great energy within the station. We proved to ourselves we could do it. We proved to the volunteers that we can do these kind of things. So if in a year's time I say, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we run this event or that event? My station volunteers will go, well, we've done this. We know we can do this. So absolutely. It created a ton of goodwill and brand awareness for the radio station. We have a database of businesses that when we come to launch, as we're closer to launching on DAB, we can go, hey, do you remember us? We organised that business expo. Do you want to buy a year's worth of advertising on us when we launch? That's the plan. See me in a year's time to see if it works. And we actually made a profit on it, which we weren't expecting. Because of late minute bookings, because of completely booking it, and because we managed to do a little bit of cost saving, we actually made a profit on it as well. Which, going forward, not only is it a good marketing opportunity for us, longer term that profit can help cover some staff costs to help organise it in the future, but also we will be broadcasting under a CDSP, so we're hit by that 50-50 rule. This helps offset some of that 50-50 spending as well if we need to. And it, like I said, it has led to other ideas as well. There we go, I rattled through that. But hopefully, if nothing else, it's a bit of an inspiration. If you haven't, like I said, if there isn't a business expo in your area, I would consider it. If there's one, and it's a bit, then think about running your own. And if there isn't, think about partnering whoever's running your local business expo and see it as an opportunity to build those relationships. Because you've got a great marketing voice. You as a radio station, you as the businesses you work with, you know, your job as radio stations is to work with dozens and dozens of businesses to help sell themselves. That's what a business expo is all about. So you've got those connections and those relationships and those opportunities to market. Thank you ever so much.